The village in it with a map and a plan. No place too tiny for this determined man. Crossing the counties one by one, you'll see in every English corner a bit of history.
The South Kesteven series is sponsored by Gainsborough Cycles 01427 617 752. For all your cycling needs, this is your one-stop shop located at 20 Ropery Road, Gainsborough, or online at gainsboroughcycles.com. There's a link in the description. Gainsborough Cycles, ask for Trevor Halstead. Welcome back to South Kesteven, folks. The sun's kind of in my eyes here, but I actually don't mind it, to be honest with you, at the moment, because I've got a great view of a quarry. Look at that. It's a beautiful quarry, that, and when the sun comes out, it just looks awesome. That is Creeton Quarry, which you'll find in the parish of Counthorpe and Creeton. Counthorpe and Creeton, Cuthers Farm and Cratus Farm. Rounding off the week in South Kesteven, today we have a parish that contains two small hamlets, beginning with C. They go by the names of Counthorpe and Creeton. Between the two, the population barely gets above 100, and there are less than 50 houses. Running through the area is the East Coast Main Line, and we'll be passing under the Channel's favourite railway in this one at the end. Most of the civilization here is to the east of the railway line. To the west, it's largely rural, except for the existence of some stone quarries. The largest of those is Creeton Quarry, even though theoretically it should be named Counthorpe, given its location. It produces fine limestone for building purposes. Several small streams rise in this parish, most of which drain into the West Glen River, which we'll be seeing for the first time today. In terms of village landmarks, there's, well, not a great amount to see. Creeton can boast a Grade 1 listed church dedicated to St Peter and a small nursery school. Counthorpe, on the other hand, has the Quarry and, well, not much else. It reminded me in many ways of Coneythorpe and Clareton, this one, in Harrogate, two settlements both beginning with C and lacking a lot of stuff to talk about. Did that stop me from exploring though? Well, what do you think? You should know me by now. Come with me as we have a wander around this very rural parish in South Kesteven. The Domesday Book doesn't record a church at Creeton, but there's one here today. Grade 1 listed, this is dedicated to St Peter, and it's built in the decorated style. It's been here for a while, for sure, but it's not the first church to have ever existed in Creeton. During some restoration work in 1851, the piers and arches of a former Norman aisle were discovered. St Peter's stands on high ground to the east of the village, sitting behind an ivy-encrusted churchyard wall. It consists of a western tower with a spire, a large south chapel and a chancel. It's a fairly basic structure, with no aisles or clerestories and no porch. The south chapel is substantial given the size of the church, with its roof standing a little above the roof of the chancel. That's clear evidence of some wealth here in the past. There are two bells here, one dating from around 1300 and the other from 1700. There's no founder attributed to either. Notable internal features include a Bible that dates from 1611. What makes it more peculiar is the fact that it's chained. In the churchyard are two examples of Saxon grave crosses and 20 stone coffins considered to mark the interment of Cistercian monks of Vallisdye Abbey in neighbouring Edenham. This is the river which Creeton stands on. It's officially known as the West Glen, but it's alternatively titled simply the River Glen. The river's name appears to derive from a Brythonic Celtic language, but there's also a strong early English connection. The glen has two sources, both in the low ridge of Jurassic rocks in the west of the county. One of these sources is called the East Glen, which flows in a southerly direction, eventually arriving at Edenham and then joining the West Glen at Wilsthorpe. The West Glen flows more or less parallel to the East Glen, passing through Bitchfield, Burton Coggles, Corby Glen and Creeton to reach Essendine in Rutland, where it turns east towards Greatford. Most of the water from the West Glen River no longer joins that from the East Glen, because instead it flows along something called the Greatford Cut to join the River Welland near Market Deeping. The rerouting was devised by the chief engineer of the Welland and Deepings Drainage Board towards the end of World War II. It was part of a much larger project which involved digging a flood relief channel to divert the Welland around the southeastern edge of Spalding, and the construction of Fulney Lock in order to exclude tidal water from the upper Welland. Okay, so there is a bus stop here in Creeton, even though the population of the place is probably greater for sheep than it is for people. I'm standing in front of a field of sheep and I could probably count more there than there are houses here. That's probably how I know. But there is a bus service there, which is a call connect job. It's one of these that you use on demand. It doesn't come every day effectively. Right, let's continue, because something else this place has got is a nursery. There are no amenities in Creeton. The nearest school is in Little Bitham, and if it's a shop you're after, you need to go to Corby Glen, Little Bitham or Castle Bitham. The nearest pub is in Swinstead. Creeton's only other landmark of note is this building. The Railway Children Day Nursery is a small rural establishment that provides full daycare for children aged from 8 weeks to 4 years old. The nursery also runs forest school sessions with older children. It gets its name thanks to the proximity of the Channel's favourite railway line. Yes folks, the East Coast Main Line is about to make an appearance once again. Let's drive under it now, and in doing so, we'll pass through Counthorpe. Both Creeton and Counthorpe used to be their own parishes. In 1921, Creeton's population stood at 72. 10 years later, in 1931, the parish was abolished and merged with Counthorpe to form what we have today. It didn't increase the population by very much. Creeton consists of approximately 20 households. The Domesday Book showed there were 21 in 1086, so should we term this a shrunken village? As far as Counthorpe goes, it's a case of blink and you'll miss it. It adjoins Creeton to the west, and it too sits on the River Glen, or West Glen River if you will. In the Domesday Book, Counthorpe is written as COUNTHORPE. Before the conquest, lordship was held by Earl Morcar, and shortly after, Drogo de la Beauvriere became the tenant-in-chief. He's already well known to us thanks to Skipsea Castle. Counthorpe was formerly a hamlet in the parish of Castle Bitham and once had its own chapel. However, that was annexed to Creeton in 1860. In 1866, Counthorpe became a separate civil parish before merging with Creeton in 1931. And all of that really only leaves us with one landmark. Technically, in Counthorpe, given its location, that would be Creeton Quarry. Creeton Quarry is one of the largest of its kind in Lincolnshire. Industrially, it's the biggest employer in the parish, although it doesn't really have a lot of competition in that regard. The site has been active for centuries, stretching back to at least Roman times. In fact, part of Creeton Quarry is known to have once been a Roman or Iron Age metalworking site, and the experts reckon it was smelting iron in 550 BC. Today, Creeton Quarry is producing high-quality Jurassic limestone aggregates, agricultural lime and building stone. It supplies a full range of excellent quality crushed and screened aggregate products vital for various building needs. 3 types of Jurassic limestone are dealt with here. They are Creeton Silverbed, Creeton Banded and Creeton Hard White. All 3 are used extensively in some of the local buildings, as well as in traditional limestone areas across Britain. The company that operate it, the Johnston Quarry Group, have 4 limestone quarries in total, based in Lincolnshire and Gloucestershire. They are Creeton and Ropsley Quarries, both in Lincolnshire, and Oat Hill and Gweeting Quarries in Gloucestershire. Their sister sites in the southwest extract unique Cotswold ironstone and Bath stone, often used in high-end housing in Oxfordshire and Gloucestershire. As a group, Johnston have access to some 86 million tonnes of limestone reserves. And as if that wasn't enough, Johnston is owned by the umbrella company Sigma Rock, who employ over 2,000 staff in 84 different sites throughout Europe. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of rock. So you can't see much from the actual gate of Creeton Quarry, but you can certainly see lots from up here. This is a hill just to the west of Counthorpe, and there you can see the quarry and just how big it is. It's massive. It appears to be closed today, which is understandable. It's a weekend, but there you go. There it is. That's Creeton Quarry in all its glory, and in this sunshine it looks rather nice, doesn't it? And to be honest with you, so does the rest of South Kesteven when the sun comes out. That's it for this week in Lincolnshire, people. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Tomorrow we're going to be going somewhere completely different. I did a couple of episodes in Bradford before the end of last year, and so those are coming your way tomorrow and Sunday. Time for us to rock on and get out of here. See you soon elsewhere in South Kesteven. Now, just before I go, remember, this video is part of a huge project to visit every civil parish in England. That's more than 10,000. These routes are pre-planned, and due to time constraints, I can't cover every detail or walk down every street. Please don't complain if this video missed something out. I pronounce names how I choose to. I am very aware that local dialect may vary, and I don't take kindly to criticism about this. You've been warned. It's impossible to know everything too. If this video was terrible, make your own. If you're a regular watcher of The Village Idiot, you're not the only one. If you've got a small business, why not use my videos to advertise it? Leave a comment below if you're interested. And finally, thanks for watching this episode, everybody. Give us a like and a subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode, and share it with your friends and relatives. It all helps to keep this mission going. Until next time, I've been Andy, also known as The Village Idiot, and I'm out.